Okay guys, we will move on to a continuation part of your ionization enthalpy. Yeah guys, ionization enthalpy, the variations you already know that is what along the period it is increasing out and down the group it is decreasing out. Right? Here this is what are variations and we already discussed that what do you mean by screening effect and where the attractive force will be there in an atom and where the repulsion force will exist inside your atom. So here guys, along the period it is increasing. That is what a major concept we have to discuss now. Along the period, and you know that guys, here along the period your atomic size will decreases, right? Atomic size will decreases and down the group atomic size increases, right? Here both this atomic size will also affect on your ionization enthalpy. We will check that later. Okay. Here along the period ionization enthalpy increases and atomic size decreases. Down the road ionization enthalpy decreases. Atomic size increases. Okay. Here guys, first I will come to an ionization enthalpy along the period it will increases. Okay. Here guys, you know that along the period and size of the atom is decreasing. Size of the atom is decreasing means the nucleus of your atom and the electrons of the same atom will have an greater attractive force. Is it right? Along the period, yesterday we already discussed that size of the atom will decreases because of this size of atom is decreasing out. The attractive force between your nucleus and an outermost electrons will increases, right? As size of the atom decreases, attractive force between your nucleus and an outermost electrons increases. So that if attractive force is more means between your positively charged nucleus and a negatively charged electron, then we need and more amount of energy. We need and more amount of energy for the removal of these electrons. Did you got this? Yeah guys, because along the period size of the atom decreases. If size of the atom is decreased means attractive force between your positively charged nucleus and an outermost electrons will increases. If attractive force is increased out means that will affect on your ionization enthalpy. If attractive force is more, that we need more amount of energy to remove an electron from the atom. Attractive force between this positively charged and a negatively charged electron is more means we need a more amount of energy to take out an electron from this atom. Okay, and one more thing guys, here you should observe here as we move along the period, for example, if you consider your second period, the moment from lithium to neon, is it right? Here along the period the size of the atom decreases and we are adding an electron to a same orbital, right? First we will add for 2s orbitals and again inside we will have 1s orbitals. Like this we will add electrons, right? 2s we will have only 2 electrons here and 1s 2 electrons, whereas in 2p we will have 6 electrons. Okay, here along the period we are adding an electrons to the orbitals 1s, 2s and 2p. Okay, from lithium to neon. Okay, then here orbitals were in the same distance from your nucleus to an outermost orbital. As positive charge is increasing, then attractive force between nucleus and your outermost electrons will decreases. Attractive force between your nucleus and outermost electrons will increases. Atomic size will decreases. So that we need a more amount of energy to remove an outermost electron. And one thing here, in this case of the situation, attractive force is more. That means effective nuclear charge will be experienced by the outer electrons will be more. Okay, attractive force is more means effective nuclear charge experienced by these outer electrons will be more. So that attraction force is increasing out. Attraction force is increasing out means size of the atom will decreases. And one more thing, as effective nuclear charge increase, and this your all outer electrons were experiencing a more amount of effective nuclear charge means then screening effect will decreases. That means along the period screening effect and effective nuclear charge, along the period your screening effect is decreasing, effective nuclear charge increasing, and so that we need a more amount of energy to require we require more amount of energy to remove an electron along the period. Okay, here guys, screening effect is decreasing out means these inner orbitals where making out or acting as a screen for these outer orbitals will be less in amount because of increase in effective nuclear charge. Positive charge were increasing and orbital distance were same here. We are not adding an extra orbitals here, only we are adding electron to the same orbitals. Effective nuclear charge increasing, so there is an attraction force between your positively charged nucleus and a negatively charged electrons. Then if this attraction force is increased means obviously size will decreases. Size will decreases means because of increase in effective nuclear charge, screening effect caused by this inner electrons will be less in amount. Because of this causing of screening effect will be in lesser amount by your inner electrons, effective nuclear charge obviously increases. Okay, these were inversely proportional to each other. If screening effect is more, effective nuclear charge will be less. If screening effect is less, effective nuclear charge will be more. Okay, and what about the size of the atom? If effective nuclear charge is high means size of the atom will decreases. What about ionization enthalpy? Effective nuclear charge is more means size of the atom is decreased means ionization enthalpy increases. Okay, this were what and regular trend. Effective nuclear charge increase, shielding effect or screening effect will decreases, and your size of the atom will decreases, and ionization enthalpy increases. Okay, this is what the complete descriptions along the period why the ionization enthalpy increases. Whereas if you move down the group, for your second group, or you may consider on first group, here guys, down the group ionization enthalpy decreases, atomic size or size of an atom will increases. Okay, here screening effect is less than effective nuclear charge along the period. Whereas here down the group ionization enthalpy decreases and size of the atom will increases. That means what? Your nucleus is there, you are moving down the group means we are adding an extra orbitals to the atom. That means the distance from the nucleus and your outermost orbit is increasing out when you move from one element to another and from other element to one more element. When we are moving out down the group, we have to add one more extra orbital to the atom. Whereas we are moving along the period means we no need of adding an extra orbitals, we are adding an extra electron for the same orbital. Whereas here down the group we are adding an extra orbital. If extra orbital we are adding out means then the distance from the nucleus to your outermost orbital will increases, so that you know that as the distance from the nucleus to an outermost orbital is increasing out means attractive force will decreases, attractive force will decreases. So that if attractive force will decreases means size of the atom will obviously increases. Size of the atom will obviously increases. And one more thing you should observe here, the inner core electrons. That means what? Here there were the inner core electrons, and these inner core electrons will shield outer electrons with and more amount. Did you got this one? The inner core electrons, inner orbital electrons will shield and outermost electrons with and more amount. That means what? Here the shielding effect or an screening effect will be more. If screening effect and shielding effect is more means, then the attractive force between the nucleus and the outer electrons will obviously decrease. If attractive force will decreases means obviously the size of the atom will increases. If size of the atom is increased, screening effect is increased, then obviously your effective nuclear charge experienced by your outer electron will decreases, right? Because the inner core electron were shielding out an outer electron more with a more amount, so that effective nuclear charge experienced by this outer electron will be less. If effective nuclear charge experienced by this electron or in an atom this electron is experiencing less effective nuclear charge means obviously ionization enthalpy decreases. Obviously ionization enthalpy will decreases. Okay, did you got this? This is how the variations of ionization enthalpy along the period will take place and down the road it will take place. The one thing you guys should keep in your mind, that is what, when we are moving out along the period, we are not adding any extra orbitals, we are adding only the electrons, extra electron for the same orbital, so that effective nuclear charge will increases, distance will decreases, attractive force will increases, and screening effect will decreases because of the increase in effective nuclear charge. When screening effect is less, effective nuclear charge experienced by outer electron is always high. When screening effect is less, effective nuclear charge experienced by an outermost electron is always high. When screening effect is more, effective nuclear charge experienced by an outermost electrons will be always less. I already told you that effective nuclear charge and screening effect were inversely proportional. Okay, down the group we are adding 1 and 1 extra orbitals for your atom. Extra orbitals we are adding. That means we are moving far away from the nucleus. As the distance from nucleus to an orbital were increasing out means, then screening caused by the inner electrons will be more in amount. Okay, this is what a reason why these electrons were moving far away from the nucleus. The reason is only because of this screening effect. Because these inner core electrons will causing and screening with a more amount, that will reduce attractive force between your nucleus and an electron, so that electrons at an outermost orbit will experience less effective nuclear charge, and if attractive force is less, effective nuclear charge experienced by this outermost electron is less, then amount of energy required to remove these electrons will obviously lessen amount. Okay, if attractive force is more, effective nuclear charge is more, then energy required to remove these outer electrons will be more. Okay, yeah, this is what a variation. Screening effect is more, effective nuclear charge will be less. And ionization enthalpy will also be less. And what about this attractive force? Your attractive force will also less. And what about your size of the atom? Size of the atoms will be more. Okay, this is about what and complete picture of how this ionization enthalpy varies along the period and down the road. Okay, did you got this? This is about a complete explanation of variations of your ionization enthalpy along the period and down the road. Keep all these things in your mind because in an entrance exam, all these things will matters. Okay, along the period, orbitally same. We are adding extra electrons to the same orbit so that effective nuclear charge is more, then shielding effect will be less. That means effective nuclear charge overweighs your screening effect. Okay, effective nuclear charge will overweight your screening effect, and so that if screening effect is less means attractive force between the nucleus and outer electron will be more, so the size of the atom will decreases, ionization enthalpy increases. Okay, and down the group we are adding an extra orbitals for an atom so that the screening effect caused by the inner electrons will be very high, so the outer electrons will experience more amount of effective nuclear charge, less amount of effective nuclear charge, and so that ionization enthalpy, that means what, energy required to remove an electrons will be less, and attractive force, if effective nuclear charge is less experienced by outermost electron means obviously attractive force will be less. If attractive force is less, size of the atoms will obviously more. Okay, this is what the trend we follow to clear the picture of why this ionization enthalpy increases along the period and decreases down the road. Okay, this is about a complete picture, and keep all these things in your mind. This will help for your board exam and also for your entrance purpose. Okay.